Good evening. Here we go. Another fun and exciting time with a bottle sitting inside a beautiful box. And one of the great things about drinking Scotch is revealing, because most of the good bottles of Scotch are packaged. So you don't get to see their color, you don't get to see the shape of the bottle, you don't see these things until you actually pull the bottle of Scotch out of the box. It's fun to make a ritual of the process of all these things that are involved. You know, it might be a really clever marketing job on the part of the distilleries in Scotland, but it's really well done. So we're gonna pull this baby out, but before we do, it's worth noting their sort of style on their design. The Isle of Mull is represented throughout the box. There's a small embossing here, a larger one down here. Kind of reminds you of the Ardbeg colors. You have that subtle, like, strength and style, but like, yeah, not trying to be the party. We drank one of these inside a year. For the price point, it really impressed us. It disappeared, which was another thing from the BC liquor stores. It suddenly wasn't there, so we got a little nervous. And then this November, it arrived again. We have 46.3% alcohol, which is noteworthy. Now, you can get into all the terminology, but you know, that's not what goes on here too often. Anyway, it's not like I don't read it. I just would rather read it after I taste it, because then it's, you know, it's more of a game. On the rugged Isle of Mull, oak wood cask, thumbs up. If it matches with my memory, we really enjoyed this bottle. You can return for a refund here. Perfect. Prominently displayed the year of the beginning of that distillery, which is a long time ago. Isle of Mull, prominently put here. They're proud of where they're from, and so they should be. You're way in the middle of nowhere out there. That much I know. Wonderfully peated. So they really want us to believe there's peat. So there's the challenge in the taste. That gives you a nice focus to begin with. Just look for that peat. See if you find it. Ready, guys? Oh yeah. When you pop the cork and it's a full bottle, it has that very high note, right? Because it's just got that little bit of air at the top to pull it out, you know? So right away there is a hint of smoke and suggestion of peat. See about that. But there's definitely evidence that it could be there. One of the things that's noteworthy immediately is how pale and how it has a gold, less of a gold than in the bottle. It's paler than when it's in the glass like this. And it's, yeah, very light colored whiskey. It's more of a brine up here than a smoke. It's funny, the cork misled me a little bit. Yeah, I don't have as much smoke as I thought I did. Medicinal, alcohol-y on the nose. Yeah, it's not disappointing on the taste. It's complex in a really good way, but it's certainly powerful, and this could be just first taste. I might need to mellow into the experience a little. But it is really good. It's really strong. It ties in nicely with its geographic feature. Le-dayg lets you down a little bit on the nose. I mean, early, I'll smell it again here. Yeah, and it does, but not to the point where yeah, but let's face it, it's not about smelling it. It's great on the tongue. It holds. There's a lot of flavor. There's your smoky wood in the back on the tongue. Yeah, it's on. You think about the geography every time you drink any whiskey, in particular single malt whiskeys, because they give you a specific point of geography to consider. But on this particular island, we're on the west side of the UK, so in fact, it's taking the brunt of the powerful storms that roll over the Atlantic Ocean, because there's a pattern between most of these scotches that sit on the western shores of Islay and then upwards, and then even the ones that sit right on the west coast of Scotland have, I think, a greater strength than those that are inland and up in the highlands, and obviously in the lowlands there's a completely different mellowness down there. The initial taste has peat, it has smoke. I think the difference between this Scotch and a Lefroy or a Lagavulin, in particular Lefroy, is it's not as complex, but it has some really great features in terms of its strength. The more I drink it, the more there's a thickness, and the thickness isn't just on the tongue now, it rolls through my whole mouth. It has a really mellow smoke, it has a deep earthy peat, it has overtones of brine, in this case quite good. This is a half-star one for me. If I could go 3.5, I would easily go there. So the question is, do you bring it down to 3 or do you push it all the way up to 4? The only way to answer this is to bring it back to price point, which is sad but true, and to say that because you can get your hands on it regularly, it should be a 4-star whiskey. That being said, you know, relative to a person who is not with a budget and they can afford to drink what they want to drink consistently all the time, I think they would rate this a 3-star whiskey. And I think it would be a deserving 3-star whiskey on the overall spectrum. I think it is right in the middle of, you know, and when I say right in the middle, it's baseline quality excellent. And why I'm giving it a 4, because I'm never gonna have $300 bottles around my, you know, bar unless they're given to me. And nobody's giving me a $300 bottle of whiskey. Nobody. On that note, cheers. And even that's cheesy.